Hair. Whether it's a lot or just a little, we all have it. It starts at birth, where you might have a lack of it, but it soon grows, and it is naturally a part of you. At surface level, hair seems trivial, superficial, but for some, it means much more than that.
Hair to Black women is so much more than I think to any other race, because we have had to hide our hair or blend with whatever culture is going on or whatever is popular. And I feel like hair to Black women is just, it's much more deeper than beauty. It's freedom and it is expression.
Hair is everything. Hair has always been everything in our culture.
Hair is it's just a major part of our daily survival. It has something to do with whether we do well at work, the way we feel that day, if we have an important event. If our hair isn't right, nothing's right. If your hair is right, you can work with the rest.
For the last 600 years, Black women have used hair as a tool throughout their life. A tool for style, for character, for survival. In order to understand Black hair, we must first talk about its history, because there is a lot of it. First, traditionally, African women have always worn elaborate hairstyles because it played a significant part in status and identity in their tribes. There were various ways to style and experiment the hair, whether it was twisting, braiding, or even adding mud and clay. That is why today, Black women switch up their hair so much.
Whenever I see Black hair, I think about durability, how durable Black women are. So I see whenever a Black woman thinks about her hair, she might think the same about the durability and the way that you can shape and shift, but it still be true to its original form.
When Africans were brought to America as slaves, their language and culture was diminished, including the grooming tradition they had. Whites and slave owners also began calling Black hair wool, dehumanizing slaves. Because of this new lifestyle, the more elaborate African hairstyles could not be retained. Texture. Wonder why texture of African American hair is the way it is? Well, it's all about genetics. Afro-textured hair is very tightly coiled, and it's due to the nearly flat, ribbon-like structure of the hair follicles. The flatter the follicle, the curlier the hair. That's what creates different textures. Afro-textured hair is not only wiry, but usually coarse, lacking the silky smoothness of straight hair. This is because the tight curls hinder the protective oils from spreading across the hair fibers. A misconception, however, is that this is the only texture African Americans have. This started the good hair versus bad hair terms.
My mother was born in 1930, right? So I was born in the late 60s. And, her view, I still hear my mom, well, she's deceased now, but I could still hear her even later because it's all she knew growing up, this notion of good hair, and that's so prevalent in the African American community, and I wish that it were not so. But I've had to deal with those kinds of issues where my dad was characterized as one of those people as having good hair.
Black hair in general is a variety of things. It's so robust. It moves, it's soft, it can be curly, it can be different types of waves. It's so different. There's so many textures. And also, Black hair can grow at any rate. It's some black girls have slower growing hair, and then some black girls have beautiful long hair by the age of 3 to 5. It's totally different from everybody, but that is how robust black hair is. It can be anything.
You look at a black woman and she has a very tight curl in her hair. She's considered to have bad hair or nappy hair. And then if you see a black woman who has loose curly hair, people consider that she has good hair. That is just a matter of opinion, because that does not determine whether you have good hair or bad hair.
What is good hair? Good hair is anything that God has blessed you to have on your head. That's good hair.
While there are different textures out there, a stigma was built around black hair, and ultimately, African Americans assimilated to Western beauty standards, like straight hair. Around 1865, good hair became a prerequisite for entering certain schools, churches, social groups, and more. In 1880, metal hot combs, which were invented by the French in 1845, became readily available in the United States. The hot comb was heated and used to press and temporarily straighten kinky hair. We still use them today. I even have an electric one. In the early 1900s, Madam C.J. Walker developed a range of hair care products for black hair and popularized the press and curl style. By 1910, Walker was featured in the Guinness Book of Records as the first American female self-made millionaire. While all Madam Walker's success was great, a lot of it was due to the pressure from society for black women to straighten or change their natural hair.
I think for women, it's the images that we see in the media that highly influences our thoughts about ourselves, our self-concept, our body image, images about our hair, and ideas and perspectives about our hair. So I think the more that we become more accustomed to our own bodies, and unfortunately for so many of us, I think back to this quote that Oprah says. She says, white women obsess about their bodies and black women obsess about hair. I heard that from her maybe 20 years ago. And I think, and when she said it, I thought to myself, that is so true. I wish that we would put more emphasis on self-care rather than on this physical appearance that people see, because it's how you feel and look on the inside that keeps all this outside stuff moving, So, I think, again, we're highly influenced by what we see in the media and what society holds as images of beauty. And so we have to work really hard. We have to be very secure within ourselves so that we don't buy into that.
This led to black women not only putting heat on their natural hair, but using chemicals to straighten as well. Lo and behold, the relaxer.
A perm on Caucasian hair is like it being rolled on perm rods and making it curly. For black people, a perm is chemically relaxing the hair, so it's making it permanently straight.
From a chemical standpoint, it's denaturization. It's the changing of the protein structure in the hair, right? So when I relax my hair, it's being chemically treated with lye or non-lye products, whatever you use, depending on the chemicals, to relax that protein structure. And so it's no longer curly and coiffed, it's straight. And then when people who have naturally straight hair, it's the same thing, just in reverse fashion. It's a denaturization of the protein structure of their hair, only when it's rolled up, it relaxes it to the point where it can change and become more flexible. So if it's curled at that point, that's the way it's going to come out when you wash it, and it's going to hold for so long.
Lately, however, women have started embracing their natural hair, and society's coming along too.
I don't know exactly when it started. I believe within the last 2 years that in the media, curly natural hair is very, very accepted. That's what you see image-wise, in commercials and TV. Now that's what they look for.
Overall, whatever Black women decide to do to their hair, they should be comfortable to express themselves however they choose.
Hair in general is a freedom of expression. So I think hair for Black women, Black men, is just another way we can switch it up, another way we can be stylish, and another way that we can express our culture.
Now, Black women have really learned to embrace the beauty of their hair because we know now that it is a beautiful thing. So our hair to the Black community is just something just so very, very important and dear to us. It's been a long struggle and a long sense of awareness of who we are, and now we know that African American hair is so unique and is so beautiful, but that has been something that we did not know or didn't believe for a long, long time. So the fact that our hair nowadays is so accepted by not only us, but by the world, it's just a very, very important part of our culture.
Some advice I would give to younger Black women, or just any in general, is it's so cliche, but just to love yourself. Like, you don't look like anybody else. You're not gonna look like anybody else. So own it and be confident in it, because when you do, nobody can take that away from you. You just, and be empowered by others, and just love the way you look. Love your hair. It's so important. It's yours, and nobody else has hair like yours.